Hey, vinyl community, this is going to be a contest entry for my friend Robert, who is in Ontario, Canada, and he's having a contest on his channel, Robert's on My Turntable, that I want to jump on real quick here and do a video. He wants us to show 5 drummers, well, not show 5 drummers, but talk about 5 drummers. I don't know if they necessarily have to be our favorite. A lot of drummers have been taken already in this contest, and it doesn't really leave a whole lot for me to talk about. Kind of left with the scraps, actually. But before I get into my drummers, make sure you check out Robert's on My Turntable. He's got a fantastic channel. I love having coffee with Robert when he's doing his videos. He's got a very cool vinyl collection. He's got an extensive CD collection. He knows all things Canadian music, and he's a great expert to talk about all the music in his collection. So the 5 drummers that are kind of left over for me to talk about. Number 1, Pete Best, who used to be drummer for the Beatles before they brought in Ringo Starr. Pete Best was not the greatest drummer. He actually got fired from the Beatles because his playing just wasn't up to par. Ringo was a much more proficient drummer. All he really had to do, for the purposes of when the Beatles were playing in Hamburg, when they were playing at the Cavern Club, he just had to sit there and look handsome. It didn't even matter what kind of beat he was playing. It didn't matter the quality of his drumming. As long as he was there to look handsome, bring all the female audience members into the club, that was really the only function that he really served. He could drum okay. If you listen to any of the older recordings, kind of archival recordings of Pete Best, not that there are a whole lot that exist, but the Deca tapes is one of the places where you can actually hear Pete Best drumming, and it's not good. It's really not that great. It's pretty much tedious. He's not doing a whole lot of drum fills. No use of tom-toms. I mean, it's just really very plain. So obviously getting Ringo Starr was an upgrade, and but we still want to acknowledge Pete Best, because if it were not for Pete Best, the Beatles would have been a trio for a while until they picked up Ringo Starr. So give him that at least, can we? Number 2, I want to talk about Slim Jim Phantom, the dynamic drummer for the Stray Cats. With Slim Jim, it wasn't so much what he played, it was what he didn't play. It was kind of the spaces in between the beats is where he really shone. He knew when not to play, he knew when to play, but he knew when to create enough space between the beats of the drum that he did, that it really is, to his credit, that he's really not known as a great drummer, because he wasn't flashy. He wasn't somebody who, was out there trying to call attention to himself. And the fact that we don't know that much about him, I think really speaks to, what a average drummer he was. But he wanted to be average. He had basically, I think, a snare drum, and he had a cymbal. But that was all he needed. And you think about how full and how bombastic those Stray Cat songs are, Sexy and 17, Rock This Town, all those songs definitely benefit from the below average quality of his drumming and just kind of the basic beats that he used to play. But definitely want to give him some love and some credit on this video. So let's give it up for Slim Jim Phantom. Third drummer I want to talk about is the Monkees dynamic drummer, Mickey Dolenz. I mean, what would the Monkees be without the fantastic drumming of Mickey? Just listen to the songs. I'm Not Your Stepping Stone, Pleasant Valley Sunday, Going Down, I'm a Believer. Mickey's drumming on that is just impeccable. He could keep time like nobody else. He could be flashy, but the thing was, he was just a steady beat for, Mike and Peter and Davey. They could always rely on Mickey's fantastic drumming. On those records, Mickey sounds amazing. He's still drumming today. Don't know how much longer he's going to be behind the drum kit, but hats off to Mickey Dolenz. Great job, Mickey. Fourth drummer I'm going to talk about is Frankie Gibb. He was one of the unsung Bee Gees, one of the Gibb brothers. He he stayed in the shadows. You don't hear a whole lot about Frankie Gibb, but the Bee Gees were actually more than a trio. But you just didn't hear a whole lot from Frankie Gibb. But he was their drummer throughout the balance of their career. But nobody ever talks about Frankie Gibb. But he was definitely the lost Gibb brother. But he brought so much to the Bee Gees, so much with his talent and with his drumming. But he just kind of, didn't ask for a whole lot of recognition, didn't want his face on any of the album covers or any of the promotional photographs. He just liked to do his job, get off the stage, did not want to be a part of any, promotion or, anything to do with promoting the Bee Gees. He just did his job. And then at the end of the day, he just kind of walked off, and that was that. The last one is Pasquale E. Pie Plate from one of my favorite bands, the Chuck E. Cheese Band. The thing I like about Pasquale is he never asked to be a drummer. He's technically a pizza chef. And one day, the regular drummer for the Chuck E. Cheese Band, he called off sick or just said, I'm tired of playing the kids. I don't want to do this anymore. And basically, they went into the kitchen and was like, okay, who here can drum? And Pasquale was, I guess, the only one who kind of put up his hand like, well, I don't know. I'm not a great drummer, but I will try. I don't know if that's how he talked. I imagine that's how he talked. But, he stuck up his hand, and forevermore, he was no longer in the pizza kitchen. He was behind the drum kit and held down the beat and the rhythm for the Chuck E. Cheese Band for 10 plus years. Doesn't get a whole lot of recognition, doesn't get a whole lot of love. You're never going to see him in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but, God bless you, Pasquale. You never asked for this, but at the same time, I can't imagine the Chuck E. Cheese Band without you. So anyway, that is my contest entry. Check out Robert's on my turntable, and have a great day.